don't first of all agree to you that we are in a bear market. Even if you look at see, in any market at any stage, some stocks are going to underperform and some stocks are going to outperform. Now you had an index go from 4800 to 11,000. Today also it's around 11,000. Peak was 11,300. Now market, according to me, is consolidating to make the second phase of a rise. Right? There is polarization in the market. That polarization will correct itself. But there were a lot of excesses in the mid caps. मतलब 40 पी क्या होता है गांव भूल गया था, आज भी भूल गया. That what quality companies should carry, both in the nature of the business, their corporate governance, their cash profile to deserve that kind of P. Right? I was shouting from the rooftop that boss, this is not going to last. So I don't think we're in any kind of bear market. And even in the mid caps, you have had tremendous rises. Stocks have gone up 5 times from 100 to 500, and they have given away 40% of that gain. Still, the rise is tremendous. So I don't agree we are in any kind of bear market anywhere. We're in a kind of correction and consolidation.
Plunge, tumble, decline, these are the words financial media is using to decline, to describe mid-cap market. And when I met you in Feb, you were of the view that, look, a time-wise and a price-wise correction in mid-cap was coming. I'm just quoting your words again. Market bhul gaya, 35 ka P kya hota hai? These were your words.
Right.
So the price-wise correction has kicked in. Now do you think time-wise correction will be here for mid and small cap stocks?
See, Nikunj, first the stocks have to stop going down. How will you know that a bottom has been made? That a stock will make a range. So suppose a stock had gone from 100 to 500, right? Then it comes back to 300. I'm giving a very random example. Then it will spend time between 300 and 350, 300 and 360. Then it will make higher bottoms and higher tops, and then it will make a new rise. So I think time-wise it's going to take time. But as an investor, I don't think, see, I don't, in 2017, because I never see the increase in my portfolio and I never know what my performance is. किसको दिखाना है रेखा पूछती नहीं है, उसके अलावा कोई पार्टनर नहीं है. Whom I have to show my performance, and why should I show it to anybody? So question, I had a 70% rise in 2017. It's never going to last. I knew that out of that 70%, समझो 100 का 170 हुआ है तो 25-30 जाने वाला ही है. समझने का ही नहीं कि 170 सही है, और ये 70% लाइफ में आने वाला है, कभी नहीं आने वाला है. So the maturity is in understanding and not getting unnecessarily excited about the gain. Similarly, when stocks fall, if stocks fall beyond a point which is, I think, reasonable, I think that fall is temporary, and I can always be right and wrong. So I think we need more mature outlook, and we need to, filter the reality from the noise. सब मिड कैप ले रहे तो अपन भी ले लो, क्या है, इसका भाव है तो हमारा भी होना चाहिए. So I don't think that is the right approach, and I don't believe, just as I said, that at this level of profits, corporate profits to GDP, at this level of investor participation, right, and I think the Indian economy is basically going into an upturn. Capital investment is reviving, demand is reviving, right? A lot of idle assets where the NCLT process will come into, and I think these silent changes which are taking place in India, I think by the NCLT process, credit discipline in this country will improve. सर आज मैं टेल्को का सप्लायर हूँ, टेल्को मुझे पेमेंट नहीं देता है तो आई बेयर, कल मेरे को बैंक अकाउंट ही बंद कर देगा तो मैं तो टेल्को को जाके बोलूँगा दोस्त या तो तू मुझे पैसा दे ये धंधा बंद कर, राइट? एंड पीपल विल नो लॉन्गर misbehave with assets. कि 1000 रुपये का प्रोजेक्ट 1600 में लगाओ, समझे ना, इक्विटी कंट्रीब्यूशन 0. Then the other projects which have come, GST, people forget, boss, the prediction was GDP will go up from 2% to 8%. That is all, this is all a process. So basically you do not have very high corporate profits. You are seeing an upturn in the economy. The reform measures benefits are going to kick in, right? So I see by no means that this market has reversed. Only thing is, internationally I'm afraid of two things. One is, I think the euro is not going to last. Whether it breaks 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, we don't know. Second thing, I don't know what will happen to China. because China has extremely high levels of debt. So I think these are two things which can internationally upset India. I think otherwise nothing. There is nothing internationally also.
And when markets prices go up and down and then reasons follow. The Aam Janta is saying that mid caps have fallen. Why? Because of ASM, normalization of mutual funds. That's, you think, is not the reason why mid caps have fallen?
That's all. See, those falls can be temporary. Right? वो हो सकता है कि temporary follow, but भाव सच्चा है ना तो बाहर क्यों नहीं आते? If you are a good leverage player, you still get leverage here. I get leverage at 8.3%. So question is, price is real. कोई बोलेगा ना कि उसने बेच दिया इसलिए घट गया. अरे उसने बेच दिया, बायर क्यों नहीं आया? और देख, शेयर बाजार में एक चीज की सच्चाई है कि कोई बेचते जाए और भाव नहीं घटे और कोई लेते ही जाए और भाव नहीं बढ़े तो भले वो भगवान हो, उसको हटना पड़ेगा. So I see, let's believe prices are real, that there have been excesses on the mid cap side. They say, price induces its own buying and selling. So mid cap में जो price की role हुआ, तो people believe it's true. So it is an excess, it will correct itself.
Now, we've had a 4-year long bull market in the mid and small cap stocks. The P multiples, reached north of large cap stocks.
Yeah.
Historically, by definition, mid cap should trade at a discount to large cap stocks. So if I go by that definition, the scope of correction could be still large.
It's not that all stocks can be, all mid caps should necessarily, trade at a discount to large caps. It depends on the nature of the business. There are some mid caps which are doing some very good businesses, right? And I think my personal judgment that at these levels, at least 50-60% of the excesses in the mid caps has been corrected. There is still way to go, but you are not going to see very big rises very fast. You'll have to have a period of correction and consolidation.
If I look at the profile of large caps, or I would like to use the word mega caps, India's biggest IT company all-time high, India's biggest energy company all-time high, India's biggest FMCG all-time high, India's biggest private bank at an all-time high. So it may look like a concentration of 8 or 10 stocks, Mr. Jhunjhunwala, but frankly the profile of stocks is very...
No, but if you see the start,
Right.
I'll tell you Titan, right? It was 300 on the day of demonetization, 10 days. It went to 1,000, now it's 850. You think it's not a gain? So there are so many stocks. See, just because we have seen that, a stock goes up 3 times, it's going to rest here. So I don't agree that the gain in this bull market, you look at Avanti Feeds, and it may have gone from 2,000 to 1,000, but it went from 60 to 2,000 here. So how do you say it's not gained? You bought it at 2,000, that's your problem. Right? But if you look at the longer term gain, it's unbelievable. So I see even in my portfolio, I say I have a 70% rise. I know that 70% is not going to rise, last, but 40-50% of the rise will last here. So everybody who has invested prudently, who has not got excited, समझे ना? Just like very pretty girls may excite you, but you pay a very heavy price. So the stock market may excite you, but you pay a very heavy price.
You mentioned that the earnings revival is round the corner. High frequency data is selectively bullish. We got a commentary from HUL, good. We got a commentary from Z 2 days ago, decent. Are you getting a sense that, yes, in 2017, Mr. Jhunjhunwala, 95% of the markets went higher. Do you think now markets will start differentiating with this earnings season, if not this earnings season, next earnings season, and good quality mid-cap stocks will start regaining momentum?
यार mid-cap से कुछ हो गया है कुछ infatuation हो गया है
No.
I mean, you can't label everything with the same. It depends on stock to stock. There are certain mid-cap stocks which are not corrected at all, right? So we have to look at the quality of. See, that madness has corrected itself.
Fair point.
And that madness will not come easily before 2-3 years.
Okay. Fair point.
मतलब समय लगेगा लोगों को भूलने को, जो चोट लगी है उस पे थोड़ा मल्लम लगाने को, आप समझे ना? So, but good quality stocks will do well. I for one feel that, I will say broadly I will invest.
Okay, I was looking for that kind of an answer. Stock specific, we are not getting into it, but in terms of in tone, Mr. Jhunjhunwala is of the view that he will look at opportunities to invest. Now, at the beginning of the year, your second prediction when we interacted was that you were of the view that dollar will strengthen, rupee would weaken, and IT stocks will make a comeback. IT sector has surprised us. IT stocks have made a comeback. Do you think that?
But I think now they are well valued.
Okay.
At that time, I thought there was a lot of opportunity in them, but I feel now they are well valued.
So for a sector like Indian IT, large cap Indian IT, which is throwing a lot of cash, buybacks are at play, the ownership, the growth also in US economy is making a comeback. What do you mind should be the long-term PE band?
अपन उसे थोड़ी पी बैंड में क्या दिखते हैं यार. I can't predict कि Infosys should be 10 to 20 because markets piece change, sectors piece change. But I think selectively markets have had बस 2900 में टाटा ने बेचा था TCS, आज 4000 का भाव हो गया. ठीक है ना यार, लार्ज मार्केट कैप स्टॉक 40% बढ़ गया और क्या होगा. अर्निंग ग्रोथ तो कुछ 10 का 20 हुआ है ना. सो आई थिंक दे आर वेल प्राइस्ड नाउ इन माय ओपिनियन. Only I feel is the dollar may could gain, and rupee could go below these levels. So then they could, but I think malai khali ab chhach par jaye.
IT companies doing the right things by giving cash back to shareholders. 2 buybacks have been announced by TCS. Hopefully more will come from Infosys and others.
See, it is a business strategy of each company. What do you do with cash? Either you acquire or you give back. If they don't want to acquire because they don't want to take a risk to the business models, and they feel that if they acquire there are integration problems, right? So then giving back cash is the best.
So I'd like to draw your attention to the banking sector. Do you think markets have recovered from the shock of the PNB news?
I don't know, but I surely feel it's the time to buy bank stocks.
Why?
With a 5-year angle.
Why?
I think you'll get multiple returns.
One side you've got retail dominated franchise, whether it's retail NBFCs or retail banks, which are trading at huge price to books, which are trading at multiple highs.
No, I don't mean those banks. I mean those banks who are in. See, banks have a pre-provisioning profit, and then they make provisions, right? Now the fact is that you go to any country in the world, credit growth is 1.25 to 1.5 times nominal GDP growth. Nominal GDP growth in India will not be less than 12%, 7 to 8% growth, 4 to 5% inflation. So credit growth has to be 15 to 18%. Now 70% of the sector is going to grow at 10% or 5%, right? तो 70 में आप 5% ग्रोथ करोगे तो जो 18 की ग्रोथ होगी वो 3.5 70 के पास जाएगी. तो 30% क्या है स्कोप टू ग्रो एट 50%, right? So there is a big need for these banks. Their external opportunity and the demand for their product is unbelievable, right? It is now going to a lot of NBFCs. Now see, the bad loans are those which are given prior to 2030. यार अभी कभी तो खत्म होगा. तो I think 19 March quarter, most banks, I don't know about the worst public sector banks, but most other banks, and I don't mean the big performing ones, would have adequately provided for themselves. And there is no legacy bad debts from 2014, 15, 16 deposits. And the pre-provisioning profits will grow because there will be credit growth, and they have all set up networks, so the cost to credit ratio will come down, right? And today the return on equity is say 6%, 8%. Pre-provisioning profits may return is 17%, 18%. So when the pre-provisioning profits grow and the provisions are not there, their profits will shoot up and the return on equity will go back to 17, 18% by 2020-21. So there not only will you get the benefit, price is equal to EPS multiplied by P. EPS will go up because of credit growth and provisions will be less, and cost to income ratio will go down, and P will go up because today why is a bank 4 times book? Because they have consistent 18% return on assets. Return on equity, 1.5% return on assets, right? So that will come back. So I think there is good public, 1 or 2 good public sector banks, and those private sector banks which have not performed and who have well provided. I think they will give multiple returns.
Would you like to extend that to even old PSU banks? or old private banks? I mean, Federal Bank came out with numbers yesterday. Numbers were great.
No, I don't. I'm telling you, know, other than the Kotaks and the IIBs and the Yes Bank and HDFC Bank, the other banks which have not performed, whose return on assets are low, right? They are the banks, whether federal or whether any of those banks, ICICI, anybody, right? They will do very well in that.
Why are markets paying disproportionate P multiples to consumer staples? P multiples are north of 50, 60, 70 times now.
Well, because of the nature of the business and the fact that there is security consumption in India will always go up. These companies have given consistent returns. But Zindagi mein I'll never forget one thing. You know, are you aware of one thing? The day the market made a bottom in 2000, the market made a bottom 6-7 days after September 11, 2001. 2001,
Yes,
no?
yes.
Right? On that day, the price of Hindustan Liver was 329. 15 months later, or 2004 March, the index was 6,000 and liver was 150. And liver did not cross 329 until 2011. For 9 years, liver gave no return. Right? तो अभी यार बढ़ेगा तो अपने आप करेक्ट करेगा. And markets are giving this kind of multiples because if you look at China, see, India has now gone above that 1600 per capita income range, where discretionary spending is going to take off, right? And these are all discretionary spending items. So they expect a big growth in consumption and very good margins and very good cash flows, payouts, corporate governance. That is the reason.
But can these P multiples sustain on a longer term? And can an investor now expect double-digit returns on a 5-year period?
See, whenever you have very high Ps, what's going to happen after some time? That maybe for a year or two the shares won't appreciate because the earnings will go up, but the Ps will correct. But as a long-term investor, see, I don't have. If I am the investor of a stock over a period of time, it has given me a very good return. I am not smart enough to predict that, you know, now this stock has peaked, liver has peaked, let me sell it. Then 2 years it will consolidate, let me buy X stock. And then after 2 years I'll buy liver. If you are holding a good blue chip stock which has given you return a period of time, I would hold it.
But when the disclosure hit the exchanges that you've reduced your ownership in Titan, that got everyone thinking. What does this indicate? You think that Titan has peaked out in terms of return potential?
Well, I still own 6 crore 25 lakh shares, whose worth today is 5,500 crores. So I still have 5,500 crores of my money in Titan. So if I lost confidence, I would have sold the balance. I sold because I'm making another very large investment. I'm investing actually 2,400 crores of rupees in a single company, unlisted company. So I need money. And, you know, Titan becomes too disproportionate part of my portfolio. So, I mean, I have sold Titan not because I still believe in Titan very much. I'm extremely bullish. But I sold because I needed money to make an alternative investment.
There are two investment disclosures which have hit exchanges in last 15 days. One that you bought into Dish TV and today on Jayaprakash Associates. I'm not asking you why you bought Dish. No, I'm not asking you that. Just hear me out.
No, disclosures are right.
Right, disclosures are right. But the commonality between Jayaprakash Associates and Dish TV is that these companies have debt. They have suffered.
You are very badly mistaken. Jayaprakash has got very little debt.
On a consolidated basis.
No, consolidated basis में क्या लेना देना उसको? If Jayaprakash infrastructure which he cannot get because he is the promoter goes away, his debt in Jayaprakash industry is nothing. It's 5,000 crores. He has settled with all the banks. So I don't agree with you that Jayaprakash industry has got disproportionate debt. And he's got a cement business which is valued more than 5,000 crores.
I mean, I was looking at the consolidated picture. I know the NCLT issue is still on right now.
I have not bought the consolidated company though. वो तो सब ले ली उससे ना.
Of course.
Jayaprakash Power, they have issued equity, he become minority.
Right.
How can he, in Jayaprakash infrastructure, he cannot get the company as per the NCLT law.
But are you confident that a lot of these cyclical businesses could slowly start making a comeback? Is that?
He's not confident though. दुनिया में हुआ ही है ना यार. क्या हुआ 1998 के एशियन क्राइसिस में? 100 का एसेट 10 हुआ, 1000 एसेट समझो 100 के 10 हुए. उसमें से 25 10 के वापस 1000 हो गए. तो इनमें लॉटरी तो लगने वाली, किसमें लगेगी बात ही है.
Fair point. I'm getting a sense that markets are no longer over obsessed with the US generic story. Finally, Indian pharma companies are getting valued on other businesses, Indian businesses. Is this the right approach, that don't just think of pharma and
I don't know. I think
connection?
Indian companies are going to do extremely well in US generics.
Okay.
It's become very common to gali dene ka, but I think, and I'm extremely bullish on the pharma sector, I think it's a time to buy.
If you look at the pecking order of IT, we've seen changes and disruptive waves, but it's only 3, 4, 5 IT companies have migrated to the next level. Do you think a similar kind of phenomenon will happen, because the wave in pharma is changing? Lupin, Sun Pharma, they're moving to complex generics. Do you think the chota ones will be left out?
Do you know one thing, Nikunj? That Sun made its biggest business in the skin business. Made its biggest money in the skin business. You know, skin had become worse than the generic situation today. Then everybody withdrew or lottery lag gayi. So, you know, it's a matter of cyclicality. And Indian companies have achieved, see, they have an Indian business which is like Hindustan Liver's business. You know, a company will have a 5,000 crore sale with a 500 crore capital employed. Return on equity will be 100%. Then they have a business outside rest of world business also, which is very good. And now a lot of companies, I am very bullish on the pharma sector, right? EA level can't remain, it will improve, right? And what else can I am bullish for? I'm holding on.
You know, when I met you about 2 years ago, you said that you admire the
मेरे को बड़ा याद लगता है, मेरे को याद नहीं आता क्या?
Well, it's my job. It's my job to do that. You said that you admire the Tata Group, both in terms of corporate governance and what they've done. What is your take on the change of guard at Tata's now, with Chandra as the chairman of Tata Sons? Can he do the magic, what he's done at Tata? Yes.
See, Tatas are blessed by God. They are my role model in life. They're the persons who established the house of Tatas, Sir Ratan Tata, not this, and Sir Jamshedji Tata. They willed all their wealth to charity. And do you know one thing, the Tata Cancer Hospital in Bombay, every child who comes to Bombay is examined by them. If they feel they can cure it, they give free treatment. The Indian Cancer Society gives medicines. Now they're setting up a cancer hospital in every district, in every headquarters in India. Who set up India's first steel plant, first hotel, 5-star hotel, first power plant, first software company, first car manufacturing company? Who set up the Indian Institute of Sciences? Who set up the Tata? So it is a role model of what is wealth. They are creating wealth for the good of society. What greater noble aim can a human have? Right? So they are my role model in life. And I think Mr. Chandrasekhar is God's gift to the house of Tata. He's a man who doesn't call the lion, he goes to the lion's den. He understands. And although he's an engineer, he understands finance better than us.
So again, so in terms of a group, would you say that watch out for Tata Group of companies as a cluster, given that there are a lot of changes which could happen now?
Everything in life is not stock market. One thing is then, Nikunj, you see how God blesses good people. कि टिस्को, टेल्को, टाटा केमिकल में 30%, TCS में 70%, करने वाला कौन? वही ना. So I think it's a great, I think there is a great thing for all of us to learn from the house of Tatas and how they're able to imbibe good talent. I was the first person to defend Mr. Ratan Tata when the whole dispute started. I came on television, I said, मेरी थोड़ी दुखता अंदर में Tata. But I really respect them and love them.
So which Tata Group of company do you think can be the star now in next 5 to 10 years?
I know about 10 years. Next 5 years, I think Tata Steel, Tata Communication. Two companies,
Two companies, okay.
And Telco is a long shot.
I look at the NBFC stocks. They've exhibited in terms of earnings, but in terms of a headline scope for earning expansion could be there, but the P expansion, do you think it's not there now?
एक चीज है, जिसके पास शेयर है, उसका 1 लाख का 1 करोड़ है. अब 1 करोड़ का 80 लाख हो गया. But the company is performing well. क्या फर्क पड़ने वाला है? See, nothing in life is linear here. So my advice to shareholders of good companies are that unless and until the earning trend is going to reverse or earnings growth is going to reverse, there are going to be periods where stocks are going to consolidate. और क्या बोला मिस्टर बुफे ने क्या बोला? You need only one good decision in life, right? if I see my career, it's of course the trading wealth that I earned is very, very important, but it is 5, 7, 8 investment decisions which have made my wealth essentially.
It's that time of the year where we start talking about elections once again. And that is a women's market curiosity. So do you think for markets to really go higher,
I can't predict what my wife will do tomorrow. Can I predict the election results? But then why are we fixated with election results? Can we know today? But I personally feel we are far more bearish about the BJP prospects than the reality. Point number 2, I think, is that it's very difficult to predict. When the BJP lost in India shining, the Sensex was 6,500, it came to 4,500. And it was 25,000 within that 4 years. Then when Congress won 209 seats, the Nifty went up 40% in 2 days. And after that, it never went up. So India is greater than individuals. Of course, Mr. Modi, I would very much like that he comes back. And see, what is the agenda of the opposition? Remove Modi. So unless there is something real disillusionment with the Modi government, and see, this is going to be fought on personalities. तो अभी ठीक है ना, हिंदुस्तान will go on यार. मैं एक चीज तेरे को स्टैंप पेपर पे लिख के देता हूँ. It's going to be a BJP government. ये खिचड़ी पुलाव आने वाला नहीं है.
BJP government and Prime Minister Modi coming back, or BJP government you're sure of not Prime Minister Modi coming back?
If BJP comes, most likely it's going to be Modi only.
Okay. I'll like to draw your attention to a thesis which you followed. Now you've always said watch out for headwinds and tailwinds. If a sector has natural headwinds, bet on a good business, it will create wealth. If a sector has headwinds, if you bet on a business, the wealth will be destroyed. If a sector has tailwinds, bet on a good company, the wealth will be created automatically. So from a big picture standpoint, where do you see tailwinds and where do you see headwinds?
I see tailwinds for India. अब सेक्टर में बुफे है यार, बहुत डिशेज है, जो पसंद है खाओ, ज़्यादा मत खा लेना, बेहदमी होगी.
No, the reason I'm asking you this is because in the past you've said you bought PSU stocks, you bought pharma companies, you were very bullish on defense manufacturing. So do you see this kind of a sectoral tailwind anywhere for any Indian sector?
मेरे को बैंक्स में लगता है, very big tailwinds for banks. Tailwind in the sense that there's going to be credit growth. You can't create these banks. And I think this problem of bad assets will now peak by March 19. And market is slowly recognizing that. I think it will be very well recognized by, and say I was very bearish on this public sector banks. But मेरे को लगता है selectively not even public sector banks are. But the problem there is we don't know what the ultimate equity will be.
You are not too surprised with the kind of wealth erosion PSU stocks have seen. It's not just PSU banks, oil companies, manufacturing companies, all PSU companies in last 2 or 3 years have destroyed a lot of shareholder value.
Well, जो गली में हम जाते नहीं उसका सोचते नहीं है. हमने पब्लिक सेक्टर स्टॉक्स बेच दिया. I made lot of money. I mean Bharat Electronics, Bharat Atma, Shipping Corporation, lots of them. But after that I never looked at them.
What would you say is one life-changing advice you've received and you've given?
Life-changing advice: look after your health. And I think life-changing advice is life is not about regrets. Life is about learnings. We should not regret whatever happens in life has happened. We should learn from it rather than regret it. So life is about learnings, not about regrets.
I saw Sanju last week, and I guess Ranbir Kapoor has done a great job of playing Sanjay Dutt's role. So if a movie has to be made on you, which actor would you like to? Which actor should do that role?
Heroine का पूछे तो बोले यार actor का क्या बोलूं?
It's on you. So
I'll play myself. Yeah.
And who should play Mrs. Jhunjhunwala? Because every year you interview a heroine. Now you've also done audition test.
Who should play Mrs. Jhunjhunwala? The real Mrs. Jhunjhunwala तो एक ही होने वाली है. आप समझे ना? क्या मालूम कब ये सब चीजें सोचते नहीं है.
You know, there are fake accounts in name of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. There are Twitter accounts in name of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. When will the real Rakesh Jhunjhunwala go social?
Why I'm social? I use WhatsApp.
No, I'm saying social media.
See, Nikunj, I don't want to share my opinions too easily. And why is my opinion important on any and every aspect? And say I want to, rather than I'm telling you very frankly, two, three
course.
reasons. Rather than seeking publicity, let us limit our exposure. And what is it new to say every day? But today, you tell me, Rakesh, I give essentially 3, 4, 5 TV interviews a year. Because every year, every time there's nothing new to say. Right? And I have, so therefore, although I'm a very opinionated person, why should I share a lot of my opinions with people and aram se, let's take life easy. Somewhere, let's not get into controversies. Let's enjoy what God has given us.
You've been making a case that the Indian investor will surprise you with a comeback. An Indian investor has made a comeback. The word you've used in the past is tsunami. The tsunami of local money is coming. And we can see evidence of that. Do you think this cycle will only pick up?
It has to look at the way the savings will grow. Boss, if India is a $10 trillion economy by 2030, our savings will be $3 trillion a year here. उसका 10% ही आ गया तो शेयर कहाँ से रहेंगे? 300 billion. Don't forget 32% of household wealth today in America is equity. And see, one thing what I wanted to share with you, why I feel equity will remain. See, it's not about that, I don't know what you are trying to learn, but I as an investor, if I get 18 to 24% return, I am extremely happy. And the reality is that 18 to 24% ज़्यादा return आता नहीं है, right? And don't think you are smart, कि I am an Indian well-known investor, I'll get 30%, I don't think so, right? So question is, no, I myself think that I have far less assets in jewelry than I should have. Because अपने पुरुष बोल के गए हैं कि we must keep 2, 3, 4% of our wealth in jewelry. And it's not that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala or his children may not fall upon bad days. I know friends who have survived for 5 years by selling jewelry. And just because I have wealth today, don't think it's going to last forever. So जो अपने ancestors बोल के गए, we must keep 2, 3, 4%, and I don't even have 0.25%, right? So the question is, where should I invest? Where is the ease? No GST. आपको 1.5, 2% लेके अच्छा म्यूचुअल फंड इन्वेस्ट करके देते हैं. आज आपको डेट में 8% पोस्ट टैक्स मिलेगा, तो इसमें मेरे को लगता है 18% to 16% पोस्ट टैक्स मिलेगा. एंड यू नो द डिफरेंस इन 8%, 9 years में पैसा डबल होता है. इन 18% 4 साल में होता है. क्या फर्क है?
Most of the good mutual fund schemes have given a return of 15 to 18% on a CAGR basis for last 5-7 years. If you think that expected returns from equity market should not be more than 15 to 18% on a longer term basis, do you think for an average investor, mutual funds actually can make you reach your financial objectives?
That's the only way, no? नहीं तो ससुर जी के भाई ने बोला ना, पिताजी के भाई ने बोला ना, वो सब डूबने के धंधे हैं. See, the biggest disruption is really coming in communication, right? Disruption will come in manufacturing, but that will take time according to me. And I don't see any major disruption. See, that one is disruption, like you will say, कि भाई cash payment से तुम digital payment में जा रहे हो. It's not disruption, it's good. Change, right? And all change will bring negativity to somebody, right? But we have to look at the overall good. So India में pace of change will be slow, right? But I think, जैसे मेरे को लगता है, I don't know whether to call it disruption or not. मेरे को लगता है इंडिया में जो credit behavior और industrial growth में जो change आएगा ना, people can't believe it, right? And see how India has changed. I want to give an example. Rakesh ji Damani, he is SSC pass, right? According to me, he is India's biggest, not biggest, but most successful and most profitable retailer. Whom did he compete with? The House of Tatas, the House of Reliance, and the House of Birla. Now it is, and he follows every law, not only in spirit but in letter. I can certify it. So see, this country में कुछ disruption हुआ है ना. People are there who come from nowhere, who can challenge them. This itself is a disruption in this country. that I came with no wealth and I could earn wealth. If you thought of it 25 years ago, unheard. So, the things in India, things are changing for the good. And see, the development of the capital markets is extremely important to this country. Not because you and I want to profit, but that will bring entrepreneurship, that will get capital. See how this country has changed. In 91 May, if you had seen the 100 richest people, 98% was ancestral wealth. In 2018, 80% is newfound wealth. Look at the change, kind of change which has come in this country already. It's unbelievable. So this disruption is constant. Now to identify in which area it's going to come, वो लगता है सबसे बड़ा सारा डिस्ट्रप्शन तो टेलीफोन में हुआ है. मतलब मेरे को लगा वी आर गोइंग टू अमेरिका, 5,000 रुपीज आई कैन यूज द फोन अनलिमिटेड अमेरिका. मेरे को लगता है 5,000 का 2 साल में 1,000 रुपये हो जाएगा.
For every man, the biggest risk you take is when you marry, right? So when you married Rekha Bhabi, was that a risk? And I'm sure when you decided to take that risk, was there a stop loss in that risk?
Well, I'll give you a very see, life is a gamble, marriage the ultimate one. वो क्या है कि 16 साल साथ में रहते हैं, फिर शादी करते हैं, फिर 1 महीने में डाइवोर्स करते हैं. So you really know a person when you live as a relationship as husband and wife. Because attitudes change. You may have a live-in relationship, but it will not have the same attitude as a husband and wife will have. Right? And I say marriage, life is a risk, marriage is the ultimate one. And it's a very costly risk. Because see, undoing marriage, I'm not against undoing marriage, but it's at a great cost, great emotional cost. Right? And I always tell Rekha, you may leave me, but I may leave you. But I cannot leave Aryaman, Aravir and Nishta.